Welcome back to my videos on my collection of American, European, and Japanese collection. I have been collecting designer clothes and accessories for the past 20 years. I house every major fashion designer. And today I wanted to talk about belts, the importance of belts to me, and a little bit about their value and why they are important in my collection. So this is a Paloma Picasso original, chocolate brown, I would say dark chocolate brown with the gold emblems. And Paloma Picasso is definitely a very fabulous designer. Well, she doesn't really create fashions, so she only does accessories like scarves and jewelry and belts. And it's more like a branding thing because there's nothing innovative about the things that she does. But as a collector, I definitely think that Paloma Picasso has a place in my collection because I really love her and she's part of the fashion world. And something like this in today's market would cost about $150. It is vintage, but it isn't that great as some of the other belts that I'm going to show you. ISABEL Toledo and RUBEN Toledo are one of the most amazing fashion designers, artists, illustrators, and fashionistas living in New York City. And Klein was a New Yorker and a fashion icon of the 1970s who actually shaped American society as a whole. What I mean about that is that Anne Klein was definitely one of the top fashion designers living in the 1970s, but she passed away abruptly, and now Isabel Toledo is the new head designer of Anne Klein. Now this belt is very old. It's about 30 years old, I would say, or a little bit more. And with the new fashions that are rising on the house of Anne Klein, most of the things that she made in the 1970s are a little bit now highly collectible. Now in America, they're very easy to find because they did make a lot of those things. And well, because I have a lot of Anne Klein in my collection, belts, shoes, handbags, even jewelry. And of course my collection of Anne Klein dates back to the 1970s, and I have already made a video on one of those pieces. But this is something that I would think it is pretty collectible. It is very hot. It is crocodile on a metal belt. And so, you know, this is the things that I love, the things that I love in my collection. This is very 80s, early 90s. Is Mark Cross. This is about a $500 to $1,000 belt. And in today's market, this would probably be about $250 at a high-end boutique store. But this was made in the 80s, and Mark Cross is one of the most expensive designers in accessories because everything that they do, it's very high-end. And I'm very happy and lucky to have several Mark Cross pieces. But this is one of my favorite belts, and I wanted to show it to you, so you know that it's not just about Versace and Christian Dior and Gucci and Lanvin and Halston. It is also about designers that are important in certain parts of the world, not necessarily the United States. I think that with collecting couture, like Gianni Versace, which is what I'm holding right now, collecting couture was never so important until the past, I would say, 10 years for a lot of major fashion houses. because like art, fashion will always prevail. And I think that a lot of the designers, especially Gianni Versace, who has passed away, they left their mark in the world. And I think that this is one of those pieces that has left its mark, because this is Gianni Versace at his best. It is when all of the supermodels like Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, Naomi Campbell, just to name a few, were the ones that shaped the world of fashion. And Gianni Versace certainly created pieces that you definitely would have to wear them with his designer clothing. And I also have made several videos on, I think, Gianni Versace, but this to me is important because a lot of the accessories that I have from Gianni Versace are not as important as the older pieces, and this is definitely a very old piece. It is about, more than 20 years old, I would say. I think this is about 20 years old. And this is very highly collectible. This will probably run about $250 now. And when it was brand new, it was probably worth about $250. So it hasn't lost its value. And this is what I love to collect. I love to collect things that do not lose their value. And Gianni Versace will never lose its value. And this is why I love fashion.